Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always. And today's weather is cloudy, stormy, lightning, and thunder all night. It's a wet one here in St. Louis, Missouri today. And today's topic is going to be the continuing series of The Power is Within. But before we start, smash that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We have a video coming out every day, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time during the week and 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on the weekends. So let's continue here with The Power is Within. And we finished up talking about my dog, Itzy. So we will continue. Location 211. Middle of the page. One day I woke up and went outside to call my friend, my dog. He didn't come, which was unusual. I searched the property, the woods, up and down the street. No Itzy. Itzy was my dog's name. I told my dad that the dog was missing, taking care to talk confidently and take even breaths. One wrong move and I'd been crying, and we don't have crybabies around here. How many of you have heard that one? Don't cry, you're a crybaby. As a man, there's nothing wrong with crying. Now, you need to be cautious about who you cry in front of. If you want to cry in front of your best friend, that's fine. I would say, in my opinion, never cry in front of your woman. Your wife, your girlfriend, your lover. I mean, maybe if your mom died, you might be able to shed a tear. But women don't do well with men who cry. Now, they'll tell you that they want you to open up, be yourself, share your emotions. How do you feel? But when you actually do it, it just doesn't work out very well. Because women for hundreds of thousands of years, I guess, or thousands of years, maybe hundreds of thousands, since we've been humans on earth, have depended on the strength of a man. Okay, so when you cry, it appears that you are weak, even if you're not. Now, a lot of people will argue with me on this. I've seen it happen in relationships. I've experienced it myself. I've read about it. I've studied it. I mean, we do create our own truths, but it's like if you want to build a house, okay, you have to build a house out of wood, block, or stone or something. You can build one out of paper, but it's not going to last very long. We have to work with the materials we have here. We can create or do anything we desire, I believe, but we can't make a balsa wood airplane out of a rock. Okay, we have to find the balsa wood. It's the same way with women. Women have certain characteristics, and they are what they are, same as men. So we have to work with what women are and not try to change them. They respond and react to certain things. Just like the balsa wood airplane will fly through the air because it's light and the rock won't. We have to use what God has given us to work with. And then we learn about the characteristics of whatever it is we're trying to create and what we are working with, what material we are working with, or what kind of people we are working with. That's something to think about, because we have this Disneyland fairy tale idea sold to us by media society of the one, or the soulmate, or the perfect woman. There are no perfect women. And there are no perfect men. We all have characteristics, and we need to learn what those are and what each of us responds to. First, you need to know what you respond to as a man. What do you want in a woman? I'm really getting way off track here. But somebody needs to hear this. Do you know what you want in a woman? You cannot have something unless you know what it is, because when you get it, you won't even know if you have it, because you really don't know what you're going after. We're going to continue, but think about that. Okay, we were talking about crybabies and being weak. Okay, one wrong move and I'd been crying, and we don't have crybabies around here. My father drove me all around the rural area. And finally, we saw my dog, Itzy. He was with a pack of about 7 or 8 other neighborhood dogs. Yes, I grew up in very rural Missouri. My heart nearly burst in my chest. I was so happy, but I couldn't cry, not in front of my dad. We called and Itzy came running back toward the truck, then stopped. "Come on, boy, come on," I coaxed, but Itzy just turned and ran off with those other dogs through a wood fence and into a patch of woods. I jumped out of the truck and my dad grabbed me by the arm before I could tear off after my friend. "Stop, boy," shouted my dad as he threw me back in the truck. Then he looked me square in the eye and made sure I heard him when he said, "He's gone." I spent the car ride home dying on the inside while doing my best not to show it on the outside for fear of what my dad would say. Itzy never came back. My best friend had abandoned me. Okay, so those feelings were there. I'm sure you have feelings from your childhood that are still there. You may not even know they're there. You never expressed those feelings. You never felt those feelings. You stuffed them away just like I did. But I'm telling you, those feelings will come out somewhere. I had a sense of abandonment from that, and from my mother going to work when I was very young. Now, is that my mother's fault or the dog's fault? No. It's really no one's fault, and it doesn't matter. What's the point of putting blame on something? It's not going to help you. You have to take responsibility for what is inside of you and do something about it. You need to feel those feelings that you have repressed for so many years. Do it by yourself. You don't have to do it in front of anyone. You're a man, you're strong enough, you can handle it. Now, it's a frightening thing to go back and feel those feelings, and you may have a lot of them you suppressed. But until you do, they will come out in some form somewhere, usually in fear, which results in anger, complaining, and many other forms of spiritual disease, let's say, or metaphysical dis-ease. As you know, the word disease is 2 words, dis-ease, not at ease. It's really hard to be at ease when you have suppressed feelings within inside of you. And I'm not one of these mushy-gushy guys who are talking about feelings all the time. I've made that mistake to the wrong people. But I am telling, I am telling you this, that those feelings usually will come out in in a negative form to the person you love the most. It usually doesn't come out somewhere else around people that you don't care about or people that you aren't intimate with. We usually take out these frustrations, these feelings, these suppressed anger with our children, our wives, our lovers, or someone that we feel comfortable with. So it's important that you express these in a safe place, usually by yourself, okay, or with a trusted friend, your mentor, someone like your priest, whatever. But you really need to speak about these feelings. I would write them down on paper. And when you can read them without an emotional response, whatever that may be, crying, anger, rage, then you've worked through those feelings. All feelings are neither good nor bad. Thinking makes them so. That's kind of a Shakespeare quote. But it's what you do with them. Anger gets a bad rap. There's nothing wrong with anger. Now, depending on how you express anger. Fear is another one. Everyone feels fear. Now, what do you do with that fear? Do you turn and run away from whatever it is you fear? Or do you confront that fear and walk through it? As I have said many times, everything you desire in life is on the other side of fear. You're going to have to walk through fear. You cannot reach distant lands if you don't take your foot off of the shore and get on the boat or get in the plane or whatever. Many people want to do many things, but they're afraid. And fears disguise themselves in many ways. you really don't even recognize that it's fear. Well, I'll wait till the kids get. I can't do that now. I have to work. I can't do this until this, until that, until I graduate, until I meet the right girl, until I build my house, until I make this amount of money. Someday I'll be the success I've always dreamed about. Someday I'll. You'll end up living on someday I'll, and you'll never accomplish anything. One day you'll become older and you'll feel like it's too late, which I don't think it's ever too late. And you will wonder why you didn't do something while you were here. You came here to have an adventure. And it's up to you what kind of adventure you have. But you have to be bold, you have to be daring. And back to women. Women love adventurous, bold, daring men. You can pretty well do anything with the woman you want except bore her. She doesn't want to be bored. She would rather be angry and frustrated than bored. Women are emotional beings. They kind of like drama. How do I know that? I have a daughter. She's 14. They love drama. Always some drama. Now, many times you'll see these girls on dating sites. No drama. You can almost bet you that that woman has had a lot of drama in her life, and probably she will bring drama to your life. I dated this girl once who partied a lot, and she told me, she says, "Oh, you're so dramatic." And I'm thinking, I don't do anything. I work all day, and I probably bored her a little bit because she wanted to party and do all these things. And when you're young, I understand that. So I was quite a bit older than she was. But talk about drama. I mean, they would go to the clubs, they would get in fights, or she didn't get in fights, but the group she was with, they would have fights. People were stealing from them, and I mean, ad infinitum, you can guess that lifestyle, what happens. And eventually I had to walk away from that because my life is pretty drama-free. What I've tried to do, and what I suggest you do, if you have drama or crises in your life, you are creating those crises. But I tried to turn that around, and I have, to create constructive crises. You want drama in your life, but you need to make that drama in a positive direction. Like, step out there and take a risk in some business venture. That'll give you a little positive stress instead of trying to get your neck out of some situation you've got into. I did that for years. I would get into a relationship and everything would go haywire and it would turn into a big mess. Maybe she's, leaving me, taking the kids, trying to get my house, trying to get everything, and I'm just trying to survive. Yeah, that was a crisis, but it wasn't a constructive crisis. It was a destructive crisis because at that time I was self-sabotaging. I didn't realize it, but that's exactly what I was doing. And that's what we do a lot of times. We self-sabotage. But we want to blame other people. As I said, you have to take the word blame out of your vocabulary or you will never grow. You will never learn anything. You will continue to do the same thing over and over again. But most people will tell you, especially in a relationship, well, you just picked the wrong person. It's like a woman in an abusive relationship. You need to get away from that guy. And granted, she does. But unless she changes something within herself, she will end up right back in the same thing with a different guy, be a different face, but it'll be the same type of man. Because she is the one that is choosing these men. And until she figures out why she's making the decisions of what it is in her that attracts her to this type of man, she will continue to be in abusive relationships. If she continues to blame the other person, she drew this person into her life like we all draw. All situations, all people are drawn into our life by our dominant thinking. And if you can change your thinking, you can change your life. That's a quote from Wayne Dyer. Okay, that's all we have time for today. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to my new subscribers, and I will see you tomorrow.